It began with a flicker, so brief, so unremarkable, that it almost went unnoticed. On August 6, 2025, inside the control room of NASA's Deep Space Network, a faint alert appeared on screen. The James Webb Space Telescope, humanity's most advanced eye in the cosmos, had entered emergency override mode. Not because of a supernova. Not because of a black hole. But because of something much closer and infinitely stranger. A moving point of light, at first catalogued as a comet. Object 3I, Atlas. At first glance, it seemed ordinary. A cold traveler from interstellar space, silent and steady, passing through our solar neighborhood as others had before. But when Webb's instruments locked onto it, what followed changed everything we thought we knew about comets, chemistry, and perhaps, life itself. The impossible chemistry data from Webb's spectrometers began to stream in. And almost immediately, something was wrong. The chemical fingerprint of the object made no sense. Normal comets are dominated by frozen water and dust. But this one was different. Its spectrum was filled with carbon dioxide, 8 times more than water. That ratio doesn't occur in nature. Even interstellar visitors like Oumuamua and Borisov never showed anything close to this. It was as if something, or someone, had designed this object to vent gas in a precise, unnatural way. And that wasn't the strangest part. Unlike every other comet ever observed, there was almost no dust. No fragments, no rocky debris. Just clean, controlled streams of gas, releasing at a measured rate, as though guided by an internal mechanism. It was no longer behaving like an object of ice and rock. It was behaving like a machine. The nickel anomaly. As scientists dug deeper into the readings, another shock appeared. Webb's instruments detected strong, persistent nickel emission lines. Not traces, pure, abundant nickel glowing against the background of space. But the one element missing was even more alarming: iron. In every natural object, asteroid, meteor, or comet, nickel and iron appear together, born from the same stellar furnaces. Their ratio is always predictable. Except this time. 3I, ATLAS contained 40 times more nickel than iron. That separation can only be achieved artificially, with technology, with intention. To produce it naturally would require a process unknown to physics. So either our understanding of nature was wrong, or this thing wasn't natural at all. Motion without cause. Then came the most terrifying discovery of all. Over 72 hours of observation, the object began to accelerate. Not from the pressure of sunlight, not from outgassing, but in a manner completely disconnected from physics. At a distance where sunlight is too weak to heat ice, it should have been motionless. Instead, it was speeding up, 0.12 meters per second squared. That might sound small, but for something the size of a city, it was enormous. And the acceleration wasn't smooth. It happened in short bursts, every 7.2 hours. The object brightened, then dimmed, then brightened again, like a rotating beacon. Its rhythm was precise. Mathematical. Almost mechanical. Whatever this was, it was operating on a schedule. The emergency override. When the readings reached mission control, Webb's automated systems performed something never before seen in its lifetime: a full emergency override. That command halts every other observation in progress and redirects the telescope's focus to a single anomaly, regardless of priority or cost. It's a protocol used only in cases of existential significance. At 2:17 Greenwich Mean Time, James Webb locked its golden mirrors onto 3I, Atlas. And what it saw, or rather what it didn't see, sent a chill through every lab in the world. The data wasn't just unusual, it was impossible. The carbon-to-water ratio defied every chemical model. The nickel abundance broke every cosmological rule. And the absence of iron rendered the sample chemically alien. In short, this wasn't a comet. It was a system. Echoes from the past. Historians noticed something haunting in the data. Throughout human history, ancient cultures have described iron from the sky. Artifacts from Egypt, Mesopotamia, and Babylon contain metal richer in nickel than anything found naturally on Earth. The dagger buried with King Tutankhamun is 11% nickel, matching only meteoric alloys. For centuries, people believed it was forged from fallen stars. But what if it wasn't a star? What if those fragments were remnants of something like 3I, Atlas, a machine that had visited long before recorded time? Now, once again, a high-nickel, iron-free object had arrived. The pattern had returned. The pulse beneath the data. While astronomers focused on chemistry, a researcher at Caltech noticed something else hidden in the thermal readings, a rhythmic pulse within the heat signatures. When converted into sound, it revealed a repeating beat, not random static, but structured intervals. Prime numbers. Fibonacci sequences. Ratios found in DNA and crystal formation. This wasn't communication in the way we understand it. It was something deeper, a kind of mathematical fingerprint woven into the object's emissions, as though it were encoding information through physics itself. And if we could detect it, so could anyone else. The Earth responds. Days later, multiple observatories reported strange pulses in Earth's magnetic field. They occurred every 7.2 hours, perfectly matching the object's light rhythm. The signals came not from the sky, but from within the planet itself. Seismometers, magnetometers, and deep Earth monitors all began detecting low-frequency vibrations, as if Earth was resonating. Something beneath us was responding to something beyond us. It wasn't an explosion. It was synchronization. For the first time, scientists considered the unthinkable, that this was not our first encounter. That Earth may have heard this frequency before, and something within its structure remembered how to respond. A path too perfect when plotted through the solar system, the object's route revealed something terrifyingly deliberate. It avoided planets, moons, and gravitational traps with impossible precision. Its path matched 92% of engineered spacecraft trajectories. It wasn't just falling through gravity. It was navigating. Simulations projected its next waypoint, a narrow corridor beyond Saturn, long theorized as a gravitational null zone. But just as scientists prepared for another observation, 3I, ATLAS changed direction. The silence without warning, every emission stopped. The nickel lines vanished. The gas outflow ceased. Its beacon went dark. It didn't fade naturally, it shut down. Within 11 hours, the object became invisible to all sensors. The world's most powerful telescopes searched in vain. 3I, ATLAS had disappeared, not because it was gone, but because it had stopped showing itself. Maybe it wasn't hiding. Maybe it had finished. The return 2 weeks later, its path shifted again. It was supposed to exit the solar system, but instead, it turned inward. Now, silent and dark, it was heading toward a gravitationally stable zone between Earth and Venus. A region notorious for causing interference in satellite communications. 3 separate radar stations confirmed the shift. This wasn't an observational error. It was a maneuver. No natural object can adjust its course after losing energy. Unless it was never drifting to begin with. Unless it was steering. The pattern on the Moon. In a last attempt to locate it, scientists used radar to ping the object. The signal bounced back, not from the object, but from the far side of the Moon. The echo was early. distorted. And inside that distortion was a pattern, the same 7-hour pulse. It wasn't the first time either. Archived data from 2017 showed that during Oumuamua's passage, faint modulations had appeared from the exact same lunar coordinates. It was as though something beneath the moon's surface was responding again. Something that had waited. The hidden code back on Earth, an AI system at MIT was tasked with finding order within chaos. When it mapped the emissions of 3I, ATLAS across time, a structure emerged, a spiraling helix of information encoded in the object's gas releases. When compared to molecular biology, the structure mirrored early RNA strands. Not life, but the architecture of life. What if this object wasn't alive, but designed to deliver life's foundation? Not a probe, but a seed, a carrier of coded biological instructions. And what if Earth was one of its destinations, an ancient waypoint in a system of cosmic distribution? The sequence when Webb finally resumed its deep field scans, it found faint rhythmic dimming across several distant targets. 7 pulses. Silence. 7 more. Each signal traced through regions connected to 3I, Atlas's original trajectory, as if part of a network activating in sequence. The conclusion was chilling. This wasn't a broadcast. It was a program. A sequence had begun.